Tonight, a 13-year-old boy killed in a tragic accident in Port Lincoln. And Port Pirie's Year 7 students receive a taste of high school.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. A teenager is dead after a horrific accident in Port Lincoln this morning. He'd been sleeping inside an industrial bin when it was picked up by a rubbish truck, trapping him inside. Nathan Regter reports.
Police say 3 boys were sleeping in a bin here near the McDonald's restaurant on Liverpool Street when it was emptied just before 5:30 this morning. 2 managed to escape. Sadly, 1 was killed. It's understood a 12-year-old boy managed to scramble out of the bin before it was picked up. He ran to the driver's door, desperately shouting for the truck to stop, but it was too late.
By the time the truck driver was alerted that there were people in the bin, it was at that point of being too late.
These young people were quite young, and it's tragic that we had young people sleeping in a bin in our community in the middle of the night.
The 11 and 13-year-old were both tipped inside. Sadly, the 13-year-old suffered serious injuries and died at the scene. This afternoon, the young man's grieving family arrived at the site in shock and tears. His shattered friends laying floral tributes to their mate.
They were beautiful boys, and they are full of life and full of joy, cheeky, always the first one in to have a joke and have a laugh.
It's understood the trio did have a place to stay last night but chose to sleep in the bin instead. The distressing ordeal shaking the close-knit community to its core.
We were close to this young person. I can't. Sorry.
Just one of the levels of tragedy of this as to why these 3 children thought they needed to be sleeping in the bin.
Which will form an important part of the coronial investigation.
Deeply saddened, and our hearts and thoughts go out to the family.
A report is being prepared for the coroner. SA Work is investigating.
Thousands of students put pen to paper today, with NAPLAN tests commencing across South Australia. Some of our region's Year 7s had their first taste of assessment in a high school setting.
It's a rigorous test to find out where our regional students stand.
Opportunity for us to check in on how they're going as a student, to give information to their parents, for us to get a sense of how our system is going.
Teachers today busy preparing students for NAPLAN testing. Year 7s at John Perry Secondary School are some of the few who are being examined in a high school setting.
The first time that we've had Year 7s undertake NAPLAN here, because it was obviously not on last year because of COVID, so it'll be just a different environment.
South Australian students had the least disruption of any students in Australia, pretty much the world. There's no question that there was disruption in the classroom as well.
Despite being somewhat daunting, teachers are confident their students will give it their best.
Yeah, I think there's always a bit of nerves, but they're pretty excited to show what they know, so it's a good opportunity for them to be able to do that.
The test has evolved over the years with some technology now used.
They have their BYOD, their devices, so they're used to doing a lot of their learning on devices, so hopefully that'll help support them.
It's a more natural day for the students doing it online, and it will enable us to get our results much more quickly for parents and teachers when NAPLAN Online is indeed used.
The year is flying by, with this school soon preparing for next year's Year 7s to start transitioning into secondary school.
So our transition program will probably start towards the end of this term to get students ready to go into Year 7 for next year here.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The future of South Australia's shop trading hours could be decided by the voters. The state government is proposing a referendum on loosening the current restrictions. If agreed to, it will take place on the same day as next March's scheduled election. If a majority says yes, the proposals will be sent to the governor and become law. 5 referendums have been held in SA since Federation, with 4 being approved. A firefighting chemical is the latest threat facing South Australia's endangered sea lion population. New research has revealed the animals are ingesting cancer-causing chemicals known as PFAS. The toxins used in firefighting foams have been banned in South Australia since 2018, but continue to seep into the animals' food sources. Researchers say they suspect all South Australian colonies are being impacted. The sea lion population has fallen by more than 60% over the past 4 decades. The Rural Doctors Association has its fingers crossed ahead of tonight's budget. The association says it will be looking for an increase in the number of rural placements available to junior doctors. It comes as the Eyre Peninsula continues to face a doctor shortage, with some towns only having 1 GP to service the area. It's hoped more funding will be on the table, helping support more than 1,000 junior doctors in rural communities. Still to come tonight, our region's farmers to receive better mental health support, and Broken Hill's Monday Festival sells out months in advance. Welcome back. Kadina police were kept busy over the weekend, catching 3 people drink driving. A 25-year-old Kadina P-plater received an expiation notice on Saturday after blowing .063. On the same day, a 27-year-old Wallaroo man was reported for drink driving after recording a reading of .060. And on Sunday, a 35-year-old man blew .108. The P-plate driver lost his licence on the spot for 6 months and will appear in court at a later date. An online portal aiming to improve farmers' mental health will receive a state government cash injection. The program will help to address the issues facing primary producers who work in a tumultuous industry.
A new website that could save regional lives.
What we've found is that farmers are already good practical problem solvers. They don't need help with that. But it's all these things that they can't control that cause them stress.
This groundbreaking initiative focused on helping farmers during the tough seasons.
A very simple website to go to, just have a bit of a look at and see how it's all going.
Strategies to cope with things beyond their control, like, for example, when it doesn't rain or if they have disease outbreaks or commodity prices shift.
$200,000 has now been injected into the project as part of the state government's $21 million drought support package. Creators are hoping to improve the technology with the extra funds.
A whole lot of new features that weren't possible with the old technology. So, for example, we are adding a portal so that one farmer can lend a hand to another farmer.
Researchers say websites like this can have a lasting impact in also preventing mental health issues from arising.
For people who aren't currently experiencing a mental health issue but would like to upskill themselves so that if they experience a challenge in the future, they'll know what to do.
Those interested are encouraged to go online to ifarmwell.com. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
With exactly 100 days until the Broken Hill Monday Bash, organisers say the event is booked out. They're now working out exactly how to deal with the 10,000 festival goers expected to converge on the region.
10,000 tickets gone in less than 2 months. We were told the Broken Hill Monday Bash would be big, but it's exceeded even organisers' expectations.
Less than 2 months ago, this event nobody even knew existed.
An event that's now expected to be the largest ever held in outback New South Wales.
We're confident that come event time, all the I's will be dotted and the T's will be crossed.
The logistical challenge is obvious. 10,000 people will need to collect tickets at the Broken Hill Racecourse and travel through Broken Hill and Silverton to the site.
There's a lot of planning going into the actual traffic planning. We're fairly confident that, we'll get cars in and out of sight, fairly efficiently.
We've got a road plan that we've devised in Silverton to be able to accommodate people when they come here.
Businesses in Silverton and Broken Hill are already planning, saying interest from visitors has been overwhelming since the event was announced.
There wouldn't happen to be a room for 19 and 20 of August by any chance. Sorry, you should have booked 5 months ago.
And with the bash locked in at Monday for the next 3 years, businesses say it's crucial they get it right.
We will build on it. It'll be a bit of an experience for a starter, but I'm sure we can make it do a memorable job of it.
Festival organisers also confirming day passes will be available for locals, with details to be announced soon. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Port Augusta Garden Club now features a new mural, thanks to funding from Oz Minerals. The piece of art representing local history, including a tribute to community groups who have used their club building.
Painting a picture recalling Port Augusta's proud local history.
So we went out to expression of interest for the community for two separate murals. One was an Aboriginal art piece and the other was a history piece. So the Garden Club put in a submission for the history piece and this is the result.
This Wilmington artist showcasing his skills, bringing the building to life while celebrating local history.
It's got the Flinders Ranges in the top left-hand side, and then we've got some one of the old local buildings from Port Augusta in the right-hand side, and it's for a garden club, so there's plenty of flowers.
That represents the Fountain Gallery, which is due to have a 150-year celebration this year.
Funded by Oz Minerals, the $3,750 artwork represents more than 44 years of the Garden Club in the city. It also pays tribute to the numerous groups who have utilised the space over the years.
It was the Girl Guide Hall, and then we also have the Bird Society that utilise the building as well.
It's hoped the city will see more murals pop up in the future, helping to create vibrancy and attracting visitors.
We want to keep expanding on our public art murals. We have the other mural, which is the Aboriginal art piece, that will be happening in the near future, and that will be at the CWA building.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us, one of the AFLW's greats set to visit the region, and Port Augusta support groups coming together to help connect the community. Aged care residents at Port Augusta's Edenfield Ramsey Village were treated to a special act today. Bumbles are Clan putting on a magic show thanks to the Nerelda Ramsey Auxiliary. The group helps to raise funds in the community, enhancing the lives of residents. It was the first time they'd received a special visitor since the pandemic began. The auxiliary is also aiming to resume playgroup activities at the centre, encouraging those interested to contact Anne-Marie Seagram. Communities for Children is bringing their Expo for Everyone to Port Augusta this Sunday, which will help locals get more involved in the community. Coinciding with National Families Week, organisers are hoping the event brings people together.
Building a stronger community. It's the Expo aiming to give everyone in Port Augusta a place to belong, while also getting actively involved.
We quite often hear there's nothing to do in Port Augusta, so being Families Week, and we know that strong communities that are connected build strong families. So we've decided to run an expo to showcase to community what there actually is available.
Although it's expected to be a bit smaller than its 2019 edition, organisers say it's more important than ever to know what is available.
There are over 92 groups in Port Augusta. We're not going to say them all, but 92 different groups where you can belong.
From sporting and social groups to local clubs and volunteer organisations, the group want the whole community to benefit.
We want people to socialise, belong, connect, be needed, be wanted, and actually have a chance to have fun.
The expo will be held here at Braddock Park and will flow inside to the volleyball stadium. It's hoped the event will also encourage people to make connections.
Come along, whether you want to showcase your group or you just want to see what's available in Port Augusta. Come along, it's going to be great. Opportunities, you might be surprised about what's around for you to do.
Katrina Musson at 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Augusta's Junior Girls Footy Come and Try Day just got a whole lot bigger, with Adelaide star Chelsea Randall to join the session. Under 11s, 13s and 16s will have the chance to have a kick with Chelsea and hear about how she ended up playing for the Crows in the AFLW competition. Budding female footy players across the city are being encouraged to attend. The event will take place at 2 p.m. this Sunday at Chinnery Oval. A Crystal Brook farmer playing for North Adelaide in the Sandfall will be putting on a different Guernsey this weekend. Campbell Coombe has been selected for South Australia, who will take on Western Australia at Adelaide Oval this Sunday afternoon. The reigning Magarey medalist will line up alongside former Port Adelaide player Matthew Broadbent and former #1 AFL draft pick Bryce Gibbs. The match is a curtain raiser to the blockbuster Port Adelaide Western Bulldogs AFL match. With local footy competitions well and truly underway, other codes are also ramping up their seasons. Rugby League returned to the Far West, while Wireless Soccer decided their first trophy winner for the season. Lachlan Etta has this week's Sports Wrap.
The Outback Rugby League season has kicked off, with teams once again embarking on those long road trips across the Far West. Wilcannia hosted a double-header for the opening round. Our Silver City Scorpions were in enemy territory against the Boomerangs, who had no trouble finding the try line, the home side dominating by 50 points. It was a grand final rematch in the late game, with the Pantu Warriors taking on the Yabbies. The reigning premiers coming off second best this time around, losing 32-22. Another football code made its return on Sunday. Soccer is back at Port Lincoln. South Coast had a 1-goal win over Lincoln Knights. Gary Marshall, Leon Duns and Rico Kendra scoring. Lincoln City Raiders had a commanding 4-1 win over Seacole Masters. Curtis Evenden kicking the only goal for his side. In the rest of the weekend's soccer matches, Lions defeated Westlands United in the final of the Alan Walker League Cup. Gawler had a 4-0 win over the winless Northern Demons in the NPL League, and Savoy did our region proud in the Amateur League against Unley United. Let's take a look at netball now, starting in Whyalla. Kiwi made light work of Warriors, opening up a margin of more than 40 goals. Much tighter in the round's other game, YCW managing to come away with the win, but it couldn't have been any closer. A tight game too between SM Celtic and Solomon Town in Port Pirie, 7 goals between the two. Central Risdon defeated Port 67-34, with Sammy Jankowski named Player of the Week for her side. In the Port Augusta competition, Vikings continue their undefeated streak after taking down Quorn, who put up a good fight. St Joseph's claiming the win against the Magpies, 42-31. And we'll end with scores from Great Flinders Netball. Cummins Kapany defeated Ayr United by an impressive 38 goals. Elliston District took down Lock 40-25, and Tumby Bay were too good for United Yilana. If your league would like to get involved in our weekly sport wrap and have your local scores included in our bulletin, please do get in touch through our Facebook page.
Stay with us after the break. Broken Hill footpath set for a government cash injection. And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Hello again. 3 new sections of bike and walking paths are expected to be created in Broken Hill. Among the upgrades, O'Neill and Uranium Streets near Williama High School, along with Patton Street in the south. Broken Hill City Council will receive more than $660,000 from the federal government to complete the works. Member for Parks Mark Colton says construction should begin as soon as possible and be completed by the end of the year. To the weather now, and winter is beginning to set in. With all the details and the latest forecast, it's a very good evening to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John. Winter is certainly beginning to set in, especially tomorrow, with temperatures said to be down to -1 degrees in parts of the mid-north forecast districts in the morning, but more on that later. From 3 p.m. today, Whyalla was cloudy and 17, Kadina reached 16, and Clare got to a high of only 13. Looking further out across the region now, Port Augusta recorded the region's top of 19, Port Lincoln, Port Pirie and Cooper Pedy all cloudy conditions and 17 degrees. It was 15 in Broken Hill, 16 in Adelaide, Woodner and Cleve. Taking a look at the satellite image now, low cloud over southern parts of South Australia with onshore winds is bringing showers, generally light. Skies are mostly clear in the north under a firm high pressure system and dry winds. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas around 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swell 2 to 3 3 metres. And as mentioned earlier, the Weather Bureau has issued a frost warning for the mid-north forecast districts, with temperatures down to -1 tomorrow morning. But it is set to warm up throughout the day. Port Lincoln and Woodton will be mostly sunny and is set to reach 19. Cleve, sunny and 17 degrees. Whyalla 18, Port Augusta to top 19. Kadina, sunny and 17 degrees there. Port Pirie, mostly sunny and 18. Clare, 16 degrees, but a minimum of 0 in the morning. And Broken Hill to top 16. Taking a look further through the week now, heating up slightly on Thursday, but rain forecast. Showers for Port Pirie, Kadina, Port Lincoln and Adelaide. Sunny in Broken Hill, and it's set to be partly cloudy elsewhere. Similar conditions on Friday. Rain forecast for Port Pirie, Kadina, Adelaide and Port Lincoln. Partly cloudy across the rest of the region. 19 will be the region's top, while 16 will be the region's low. And conditions will clear up on Saturday, but with very similar temperatures. Rain forecast for Whyalla. It's set to be partly cloudy everywhere else across the region. So best to pull out your winter warmers tomorrow morning, John, with the first peek at winter certainly to be a shock to the system, I'm sure. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. See you soon with a weather update. It's back to you, John.
That is some very sound advice. Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and Ruby Kimane will be with you in the chair tomorrow at 7 p.m. Have a great evening. Good night.